All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really raw, unfiltered superhero origin story derived straight from our source text. We're going to be looking at the deeply fascinating, honestly super dramatic narrative of a character named Atman. He undergoes this wild, completely involuntary transformation into a legendary figure known as Dragon Man. And, this text gives us a truly unique window into how heroic mythologies are constructed. It hits on these heavy, epic themes of fear, isolation, violent trials, and ultimately, redemption.
Now, what's really interesting about this narrative is how it perfectly mirrors every major beat of the classic hero's journey. But it doesn't start with some glowing prophecy or secret royal bloodline. Not at all. It begins with a completely ordinary day that is just suddenly shattered by a shocking, inciting incident. Our hero is quite literally forged in a sudden moment of pure, unexpected chaos.
Before we map out the timeline of events, though, we really need to understand exactly what Atman becomes. Dragon Man is a heavily armored, super-powered being. His abilities are initially born from sheer terror, but eventually they evolve. They grow to include incredible biological feats, like regrown wings, which are seamlessly combined with high-tech, suit-enhanced abilities, think energy shields and powerful blasts. It's this complete fusion of biology and technology, driven by intense emotion.
Looking at the bigger picture, the source text operates on a super-specific, almost mythological timeline. We move from day 1, which is the traumatic museum incident, to day 10, the masked reveal. Then we jump to day 50 for a crucial suit upgrade, and finally a climactic, world-altering event that is perfectly placed on day 100. This basically maps out Atman's incredible evolution from a terrified victim all the way to the ultimate savior of his city.
All right, let's get into part 1, the origin of the Dragon Man, or the inciting incident.
So picture this. The text describes a seemingly normal day in the city, and Atman is super excited to visit a museum. Why? Well, because they have a live dragon on display. According to the text, he fastly went to the museum. But in a classic inciting incident, this exciting trip turns into absolute bedlam. The dragon suddenly breaks the glass and attacks, and in the ensuing heart-pounding panic, Atman experiences a sudden, horrific mutation. He becomes like the dragon himself. Just imagine the sheer terror of that moment. He's completely unable to control his own changing biology, feeling his bones shift, his mind racing. His only immediate instinct is flight. Desperate and terrified, he runs away to his home.
Which brings us to Section 2, 10 Days of Fear, marking his refusal of the call.
Here's where it gets really heartbreaking, because we see this massive emotional contrast between his deep isolation and his eventual attempt to reintegrate into society. For 10 straight days, Atman stays hidden in his home, utterly paralyzed by fear. He's literally a prisoner in his own new body. When day 10 finally arrives, he spends an entire hour just trembling, gathering the immense courage it takes to just open his front door. He attempts to hide his true, monstrous nature, absurdly, but tragically, covering his dragon features with masks and pants. But when he finally steps outside, the reception is absolutely brutal. After all that inner turmoil and bravery, he's immediately met with the cruel, crushing laughter of his classmates.
And that public ridicule? It pushes him right over the psychological edge. The intense stress of his classmates laughing triggers a sudden, involuntary transformation right there in broad daylight. The masks and pants tear away. He turns into the dragon, and that cruel laughter instantly turns to sheer, unadulterated terror. Everyone is running. Everyone is scared. But this, right here, is the moment Atman becomes a true hero. Because instead of lashing out at those who mocked and alienated him, he battles his own monstrous instincts. He regains control. He looks at the terrified crowd and reassures them, saying, "I won't hurt you." He manages to untransform and then makes a definitive public vow.
This is his ultimate superhero manifesto. It's a raw, earnest, and deeply personal declaration pulled right from the text. He embraces his new identity, officially claiming the mantle of Dragon Man. He establishes his unbreakable moral code, stating he will only hurt bad guys. And, honestly, perhaps most endearingly, he apologizes for the absolute chaos he just caused, simply stating, "I am sorry for transformed."
Motivated by this powerful new purpose and that public declaration, the entire narrative pivots. While heading home, Atman gets an idea. He realizes that biology alone isn't going to cut it. He needs technology. He decides he needs to build a suit. The shift here is profound. He's no longer the passive, terrified victim hiding in the shadows of his living room. He is now an active creator, an engineer of his own destiny. He has officially accepted the heavy burden of his heroic calling.
Let's move to Section 3, the supermarket skirmish, representing his first major trial. So, Atman is at home relentlessly building his suit, but he hits a very practical roadblock. He runs out of parts. So, what does he do? He ventures out to the local supermarket to get what he needs. It seems like a totally mundane errand, right? He's completely unaware of the dark, violent turning point that's waiting for him in the aisles of the store.
The narrative escalates with just breathtaking ferocity right here. What starts off as a simple grocery run turns into a gritty, lethal skirmish. Atman spots a bad guy, a thief, operating in the supermarket. Honoring his recent vow, he transforms into Dragon Man to intervene. But the thief fights back with unbelievable viciousness, somehow managing to violently chop off Dragon Man's actual wings. It's a stunning, grotesque mutilation. Our hero falls down hard, bleeding and grounded. The text notes he is filled with immense blinding anger at this loss. In immediate lethal retaliation, he kills the thief, gathers his much-needed suit parts, and returns home. It's a shocking, brutal escalation that forces us to realize just how high the stakes really are in this newly violent world.
On to Section 4, the Day 50 upgrade, his resurrection and upgrade. Fast forward to Day 50, and the grueling recovery process is complete. He finishes building the highly advanced armor. To heal those brutal, crippling injuries from the supermarket, he consumes a mysterious potion that actually regrows his severed wings. But he doesn't stop at mere recovery. He attaches the newly forged suit directly to his own body, painfully merging flesh and metal into a singular weapon. This synergy unlocks devastating new abilities, specifically noted in the text as a shield, energy blast, and more. He has essentially rebuilt himself into an unstoppable force.
And honestly, the timing of his resurrection couldn't be better. Just as he reaches his absolute peak form on Day 50, a classic mythological trope drops right into the story: the arrival of the Harbinger. A mysterious man appears out of nowhere with a dire apocalyptic warning. The city, he announces, is going to be attacked on Day 100. This establishes a terrifying ticking clock leading straight to the ultimate climax. A catastrophic event is clearly on the horizon.
Finally, Section 5, the Day 100 battle, the ultimate test. When Day 100 finally arrives, that Harbinger's warning comes to bloody fruition. A massive monster descends, attempting to completely wipe the city off the map. But the city is no longer defenseless. Without a single second of hesitation, the fully upgraded, heavily armed Dragon Man meets this apocalyptic monster head-on. The energy blasts, the shields, the regrown wings. He uses all of it. He fights the monster and, staying completely true to the vow he made back on Day 10 to only hurt bad guys, he eliminates the threat entirely. He kills the monster and saves his home once and for all.
Looking at this side by side brilliantly illustrates his complete and total evolution. I mean, we started with Museum Atman on Day 1, an accidental, terrified victim running from a broken glass enclosure, unable to even control his own mutating body. Now we have Day 100 Dragon Man, a fully armored, highly intentional savior who possesses the unyielding courage and the devastating firepower to actively destroy city-level threats. It is just a flawless, epic character arc of empowerment.
So, as we wrap up this explainer on the Dragon Man text, I want to leave you with a question to really think about regarding your own journey. Is heroism truly found in the armor you wear, the shield you build, and the energy blast you acquire? Or is the most genuinely heroic act simply the courage it takes to step outside your front door after 10 straight days of fear, even when you know the world might laugh at you?